I'm going to move on and make the health variable or hit point variable for the player and set up a health bar in the HUD. So start by going to the player, right clicking, creating instance variable, a new one, it's another number, and call it HP for hit points, and set that initially to 100. Okay, so now we've got that variable, and so any kind of bullet that collides with the player enemy bullet or enemy object is going to subtract from that value. So all I'm going to do now is just set up the health bar really. I'm not going to deal with any kind of player death or damage yet until we start making the enemies. So just go to the layout, and I'm going to go to the layer, the HUD layer, and set the parallax on that to 0, 0. So there's no kind of scrolling on this level, on this layer. So this will just sit on top of the game, and you can just see where this dashed line is here. So that's where the HUD is kind of positioned. So if I've got that layer selected, I'm going to insert a new object and call it sprite. I'm going to put it in the bottom here. Oh, it's locked. Let's just unlock that layer, lock game layer. Let's try again. There we go. I'm going to flood fill this green. Okay, it doesn't really matter what kind of size it is because I'm going to reposition it and resize it. So there's the dashed line at the bottom, so I want it sort of around about here. Size of it's going to be 16's fine, and then let's give it, let's see what 100 pixels looks like. A bit too small. Let's try size 200 and pop it there. We'll just run the layout to see what it looks like. Okay, so you can see the health bar at the bottom there. Obviously it's not moving because the parallax on the HUD level is 0. Okay, I'm going to call that health bar okay, and the score is going to go here as well. I'm not too sure about position, it might be better at the top, I'm not certain about that, but I'm going to create another sprite, set new object sprite, stick it on there. I'm going to call it black. I mean, this could be a lot more fancy in your game, you could do some proper graphics for it. I'm just doing something rather kind of straightforward and simple. Now this is on top of the health bar at the moment, so what I want to do is shift the Z order of this. So right click on that Z order, send to the bottom of the layer. Okay, so now we can see it. Let's make it 32. Yeah, that looks about right. And now we should have a black background to the health bar. There you go, and then the score can go in here as well, maybe some other information, I don't know. I'm going to do a bit of coding for the health bar now. Let's go back to the event sheet, and I'm just going to bung all this stuff into the player fire group. So select all this stuff, make sure I've got it all, hold down shift. So that's all selected. I'm going to hold down the mouse button and drag it into the player fire group, so you can see that little arrow there. So that's all in there, and I can minimize that, and I can expand it, and I know all that stuff's nicely stored away. So then create a new sub event, and right click, new group, and call this hit points, player hit points. Okay. Before I do this, I forgot I need to set up another variable. Instance variables, max HP and set that to 100. So this will, on initial load up, this will set the HP, and then this HP value will change, whereas this one won't. And we'll use this number to do the health bar. I'll show you what I mean in a mo. So in the events system, every tick, you want to set the width of the health bar. There we go. Set width to. So we know it's 200 pixels divided by the player dot max HP. We need to put this in brackets, in parentheses. Okay, so that'll give us a number, and then we need to multiply that by the current health or hit points player HP. Done. So if I go to the player and set HP to 100, and just have a quick look at that. So there it is, normal size, full size, and then change that to 50, say, and have a look at it, and it should be half the size. But you can see it's kind of scaling the width from the center, so we need to change the origin point of that. So let's go back and double click on here, and the origin point, right click on that, quick assign left. So now it's the origin point is here. We need to reposition this. Okay. While I'm at it, I'm just going to rename this sprite HUD back. Oops. Okay. Let's change the player HP to 25. And have a look at it. Yep, so it's 25. What I'm also going to add to this is a color effect. So as it gets nearer, as the health gets lower, the bar changes color from green to red. I'm going to do this by adding an effect to this health bar object. And so right click, effects, and add. Now these effects will only work on some HTML5 systems, not necessarily on mobile applications. Depends on, you know, what system you're running it on. You just have to test it basically. But I mean, our game's going to work in on just a normal Chrome browser, so we're fine to use these. So what I'm looking for is set color. Here we go. So I've added that effect, and now it's in the properties. So now I've got the set color. It's set to 100 red. So if you want it green, set that to 0, and set that 100 green. So what we want to do is use the player hit points to kind of change these around, so it ends up at 100 red and 0 green when health is going towards the bottom. Set that to 0, 0, 0, 0 on all those things, and then in the event sheet, and every tick, health bar, and we want to set the effect parameter, which is set color, and the first one. So the parameter index is 0, which refers to red, and the value we want to be in brackets is 100 divided by player max health, brackets, and then multiplied by player HP. I say the current HP. So that'll give us a number that will go up to 0 to 100. But so what we need to do then is put some more brackets on that. Minus 100. Okay, so that sort of inverts it. And then to set it up for the green parameter, health bar parameter, this time we want color index 1. And the value for that is the same, but 100 divided by player max HP in brackets multiplied by player dot HP. We don't need to do the minus one now. Okay, so if we go to the player and it's set to a HP of 100, it should be green, which it is. And if we set that to 50, half health, it should be a kind of yellowy green, which it isn't. Oh wait, I know what I've done here, hang on. The event sheet's one way around. So this thing, instead of the minus 100 being there, it needs to be here, 100 minus, there we go, that figure there. That should produce the right effect now. So I'll just leave you to have a look at that again. There you go. And then it's set to 50. Let's try it now. And it should be a kind of greeny yellow colour. Yeah, that's better. Let's go back. Let's change it to 25. Have a look at it. Yeah, getting orange. And then we've got like about 5 health left. Red. So I mean, you could use this color effect for other things as well, but the thing about this is we can set the maximum health to be whatever now, and it'll still do the same kind of thing. So even if we change the maximum health, it'll still be the same length and change color the same way. The last thing we just need to do is to make sure that on the start of the layout, so on system, and where is we going, and on the start of the layout we set the player HP, there we go, on set value player HP to the value of player max HP. Done. Let's put that at the top in there and put that in there too. Okay. And then set our max HP correct. So when we play that, it'll be set to 100. We also need to adjust the player limits, because currently we can go under the HUD. So I'm just going to go back and go to the player movement, and here where we set the bottom limit, we need to sort of take 32 pixels off this, so 274, and change that to 274. Done. Let's just quickly check that, and it should stop us from going underneath the HUD. Yeah, perfect.